Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Tonight, I have honestly a challenge for myself. I'm not very good at blind tastings, but one thing that I want to work on is my ability to be able to differentiate the different regions of Scotland. So I had this. Hey, everybody! Just saw BDC already. I love it. So I had this thought actually last night on Eric Waite's stream, where I wanted to just pick a different whiskey from each region of Scotland and do a blind tasting and see if I could pick which region it was based off of some of the generalities that I happen to either have in my head or, have researched or whatever. Either way, one thing I want you guys to do is see if you can pick out 3 different scotches from your personal collections, 3 different regions. You've got Islands, Speyside, Lowland, Highland, Campbelltown, and Islay. So 3 different regions, anything that you can. Even if you only have 2, pick 2. But I want you guys to play with me at home because I'm curious how you'll do as well. So, hi everybody. Hey Wheels, how you doing? I don't have a link to your GoFundMe in my description, but I think you guys will know how to find that. If not, just check my last one. But Wheels definitely still could use some help. We've been able to raise a ton of money for him already, but it's tough. It's tough that we live in America and our healthcare system kind of sucks. All right, so real quick, let me just give a quick shout out to all of you that are patrons. You guys are awesome, and I have a special kind of like Patreon fueled fun thing towards, I don't know, maybe I'll do it in the middle of the show or so. Basically, I had everybody in my Patreon submit 2 choices for whiskeys that they'd like me to enter into kind of a randomizer, and somewhere during the course of this episode, I'm going to randomize and pick one of them at random and then go out and buy it. And that will be one of my episodes upcoming soon. So, Eric always with the overshare. Appreciate that. I had a great time on Eric's stream last night. For those of you that missed it, we had some good talks, actually. We talked a little bit about how we thought that bourbon was exploding recently and why. And a lot of it actually has to do with Scotch. It was part of what put me on this path. So, let's see. When you guys pick out whatever you'd like to do, or like whichever whiskeys that you choose, put them in the chat. I want to see what types you guys are dealing with as well. And I'll let you guys know what I have. So, for my Islay pick, I picked the Ardbeg Ano. And the reason that I did the Ano instead of, say, like a Lafroig 10 or the Ugadale, which I have, 10, the Corey Vrecken, any of those things, is I wanted to give myself a chance of possibly being wrong. If I threw a Lafroig in here next to a Speyside, I don't think it's going to be all that hard to tell. So, Ardbeg Ano, that's my Islay. Then I have the Auchentoshan, and this one I picked, this one's a Lowland, I believe. Yeah, Lowland. I got confused for a second thinking between the Glenmorangie, which is up next, which is a Highland, and the Lowlands. So Auchentoshan's really one of the few coming out of the Lowlands that people really know. Then I have the Glenmorangie, or Glenmorangie, sorry, for the Highland. I picked my only Campbelltown, which is a Springbank 10. And I picked the Highland Park for the Islands. Running out of room here. And I picked the Ben Romack for Speyside. And I have actually quite a few Speysides, most of which I know very well. I don't remember the taste of this one, and that's part of the reason I picked it. Also, they're the classic Speyside single malt whiskey. So, with marketing like that, they had to be picked. So, anyway, let's see. What do we have? Dalmore Cigar. That's a good one. Posted but not blue. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, shit, is there somebody that I should make? You know what, Wheels? How about if I do this? I'm going to make you a mod real quick. Now you can post your link if you'd like to. All right, so let's get into the meat of this because I want to start drinking. It's Monday. It's time to drink. I've already mixed these all up. I put little stickers on the bottom. I'm going to look away because I kind of half know what the stickers mean. So there's little stickers. I just grabbed them from my little yard sale kit. Like one of these is like $1, one's $20. And then at the end, I wrote down what they equal. Not on this page. This is just some notes. And we'll see how I do. Probably going to do pretty terrible. But let me actually do this. Well, I won't know. Yeah, never mind. All right, so I'm just going to take some notes. I don't know how to do this. I'm just picking stuff at random. All right, so I put the little toppers on because I wanted to keep the aroma in. I know I've sold you guys on these a couple of times, but honestly, these things are so good. They work really just so well for this. If you do blind tastings at all, these are worth the money, honestly. Very, very cool things. So, okay, so I don't believe this one's the Isla. And I kind of don't think I want to necessarily, I guess process of elimination is probably a thing to try here. I'm imagining I'm going to get through several of these before I put down any sort of guess, only because I've got to kind of compare and contrast them. So when I smell this one, part of me thinks I'm detecting a little bit of the Campbelltown funk in here. I do know that the 10, although it's got it, it fades pretty quick, at least in my experience. So I'm not sure. I definitely left these uncovered for a few minutes before I was like, oh, duh, I should put the caps on. So it's possible some of that got loose, but I'm going to have a half guess that might be the Campbelltown. Oh, duh, I should probably drink it. That'll tell me a lot. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and nose these first. Because I think once I start drinking, it's going to get real hard to start differentiating. I take it back. I think this one's the Campbelltown. Okay, so let's see. Should have thrown an Indian or a Japanese whiskey in just to make it even harder on yourself. Yeah, I'll get to that point. So one thing that I'm half decent at is, and I'll get back to this in a minute. One thing I'm half decent at is telling the difference between different bourbons, specifically the ABV. For some reason, I'm very, I shouldn't say very good. I'm pretty good at guessing ABV on things, like to the proof. And with bourbons in particular, it's usually pretty easy to tell certain characteristics of it. With Scotch, I'm honestly pretty terrible. So I can smell a Scotch and I can tell you what it smells like and tastes like, but when I compare and contrast them, I'm honestly pretty clueless. All right, I'm gonna submit that one. I'm actually even gonna write that one down. I think number 2 here. I should probably do number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna try not to mix these up. I think number 2 is the Campbelltown. Oh my God, I don't know how to spell. All right, let's try this one. Ooh, that smells interesting. That smells like a wet campfire, but it's like the. Yeah, I mean that's really smoky. That's interesting. I'm gonna look. There's no way. No, there's no way it's that. Maybe the Auchentoshan? I don't know. I kind of don't want to look at the bottles either. I'm trying to make this hard on myself. I could obviously look at the bottles and I could be like, oh, that's about the right color. Something tells me though that. That's interesting. I'm going to wait to taste that one before I really give a guess. I'm going to say I'm crazy, but I almost think this might be the Speyside. Even though it smells like smoke. I mean, there's peated Speysides, or at least smoky ones, yeah. I mean, there's peated Speysides, but... Yeah, you know, I'm with you, Eric. I almost didn't put islands on here. I almost just picked the Highland Park to cover the Highlands and the islands. But because I happen to have one that is characteristically associated with those areas, figured I'd throw it in anyway. Hey, thanks, Archie. Thank you very much. Bunnahabhain 12. Okay, excellent. That's one I have not reviewed yet. I hear a lot of good things about Bunnahabhain, and I'm sure I've tasted it at some point, but I can't recall very much about it. I've never liked Auchentoshan 12, at least the bottle I have. It tastes so empty and bland. I'm kind of with you there, Puffs and Drams. The Auchentoshan, it's like fine, you know? And I think that's kind of it. It's like fine, you know? It's not expensive, and that's what it has going for it as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know. There's not much going on with the Auchentoshan. This one has a bit of a bland nose to it. I'm going to almost think that this might be the Glenmorangie. but I'm not sure. Part of the problem too is I don't really know what any of these smell like other than maybe the ano. And so that's going to make this a little tough. I'm mostly going off some of the characteristics that are associated with those areas. So like a Speyside, for example, might smell really fruity or taste really fruity. Obviously in Isla it was going to be smoky, and I specifically picked one that was a bit smoky. So it is triple distilled. Yeah, the Auchentoshan. Triple distilled Auchentoshan. This one's the 12-year-old mandarins, toffee, and honeysuckle from Oloroso and bourbon casks. So a lot going on there, but I don't know, kind of overselling it on the packaging considering what you usually get out of the nose and taste. Hey Shayla, nice to see you. This is going to be harder than I thought. I think I might have really put myself in a position here, but it's okay. I don't mind failing in front of you guys because I learn too. I mean, I try to learn so that I can teach, but at some point the learning has to happen too. Okay, this one's got a unique smell to it. I think this one's the ano. I'm going to write that one down actually. Anoa. Ano. If you guys have ever seen the Ardbeg commercial for ano, it's pretty funny if you haven't seen it. Let's see. Auchentoshan is a lighter spirit because of triple distillation, but Glenmorangie is light because of taller stills. Yep. I was on a cruise this past January with unlimited drinks and enjoyed Glendronach 18 all week. Wow, James, nice. On smell alone, I know which is Campbelltown. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this one being Campbelltown. But we'll see. I'm also pretty confident in this one being ano. So I'm going to, let's see. It's probably only been like 10 minutes. I'm just really eager to get to that selection, the randomizer. But let's go ahead and give some of these a taste. I think maybe that's what I'll do. I'll go through tasting all of them. I'll continue to guess. And towards the end, I'll go one more time through and see if I can solidify any of my guesses. But after I taste for the first time, I'll do the randomizer. I am striving to mature to my fails. Thank you very much. That's very complimentary. I am a student of whiskey, and I study hard. Cheers. Now, Scotch is usually just so tasty. It just makes me happy. Like bourbons make me happy too. But a lot of Scotches just make me like relaxed and happy. They're a very different kind of drink. I wonder what, I mean, I guess a lot of it would have to do with the method that it's created. But when you consider how many different grains go into making different types of whiskeys, it's interesting to think that they're all considered whiskey. I mean, like I said, a lot of it is got to be because of the way that it is made. You know, they're all very similarly made. But when you consider that so much whiskey in the world is just made out of, barley versus, in the US, you've got all these other things. Like I'm a little surprised the US, I guess we called it bourbon, but we still called it whiskey. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm watching out for that as well, Eric. Because I know I might get a little tricked up here. Like, honestly, I'm hoping for 50% here. If I get 50%, I'll feel pretty happy with myself. 6 of them is a lot, too. I probably should have started with, like, 3, but oh well. I remember I remember I did a blind tasting of all of the Johnny Walkers, and thankfully I remember picking the red as being the worst, but everything else, I was all over the map. I remember I didn't really get very many of them right at all. So, I don't know. We'll see how tonight goes. So I have a question for you guys. What is the most expensive bottle that you would buy on a whim? Like if you went to the store and you saw something that you really wanted, what price point would you spend before you started second guessing yourself? I had an opportunity to buy a Redbreast 27 yesterday for $450, and I was super tempted. like really tempted. I almost turned around after I left and drove back. I didn't ultimately do it because they had 2 of them in stock. And I thought to myself, well, if I really want it, I can go back out like tomorrow and pick one up. $450 is a tough nut to crack. This is a hard sell for me. I'm not pulling down Bourbon Junkies money down here, so I can't just frivolously throw it away. But I am, the channel does pay for frivolous expenditures like that, and I was very tempted to. I just couldn't do it. I'm still kind of hemming and hawing over it. It's one of those things where I know I'm going to regret it if I don't buy it, but is that regret going to be enough to outweigh spending $450 on a bottle of whiskey? So, see, Mike Meyer, I'm kind of with you. I think my limit's about $150. And for the most part, it's because the channel pays for it. Like if it was my personal money, I feel like I'd be right around $100 personally. Cause like my wife and I, we have kind of an agreement that we could just buy whatever the heck we want. But over a certain value, it's good to check with each other, and for us, that value is $100. So like if I see a pair of headphones I really want, like Bluetooth headphones or something for like $70, I'll just buy them. But if I wanted to spend $120 on a bottle of whiskey, then I got to kind of talk to the wife and be like, what do you think? And I can't see her saying yes to that all that often, but I can't stay under 100. Okay. Not much above that. Oh, I can stay under $100. Yeah. I try not to spend more than 120, which is about 90 US. $200, 100 to 200 depends on the bottle. Also, if it's going to a special occasion whiskey, like say, now see, that's a good point, Wheels. To a similar point though, I would typically spend more on somebody else than I would on myself. The good news is, as far as personal friends, I guess it's good and bad news. As far as personal friends, there are very few people that I know that appreciate really good whiskey. So if I were to buy somebody a birthday present, for the most part, I can like get away with buying them something that's like, say like a Four Roses small batch, which I have purchased for a couple of people before, and they loved them, and they should because it's a great whiskey. But I don't need to go drop $150 on them either. So, Archie, that's probably wise, and I'm happy that you've learned that. I'm gonna guess based off of the taste, even though this smells a bit smoky, I'm gonna guess that's actually the Speyside. I think it's the Benromic 10. Which I'm a little surprised because I would not have thought that if it weren't for the taste, because the smell is very much not a Speyside whiskey. I probably picked a bad Speyside whiskey if I was going for typical flavors. Now, I mean, Speyside has more than half of the distilleries out of all of Scotland. So, I mean, you're going to have a lot of variety. But maybe I should have gone for something a little fruitier, something a little easier on myself. But let's see. What's in the glasses? So Scotch Comic, actually, you got a good point. There's a lot of people that have joined late. So what I'm doing tonight, just to rehash, and I'll make this quick, I'm doing a blind tasting of different scotches from every region of Scotland, including the islands, which, as Eric pointed out earlier, is not really an officially recognized region of Scottish whiskies, but I had it, so I might as well do it. So I have Springbank 10, Ardbeg No, Auchentoshan 12. For some reason, I thought there was more to it than that. Glenmorangie 10, Highland Park 12, and then Benromac 10. So I've got all the things. Let's see. I'm a bourbon guy. I'd have to go into Old Forester birthday bourbon. Yeah, Royal Antique to Pappy. Yeah, that's true. Honest when shopping, but I could get a handle of Evan Williams Bottle and Bond or Teachers for $30 and call it a day. That is always... Oh, should you have thrown in a blend, do you think? I thought about that. I thought that might be more, once I get better at tasting scotches, I think it would be fun to do a blind, or just pour a blend and see if I can even remotely guess what's in there. Also, I don't think I have too many blends on hand at the moment. I'd have to double check. But I spotted my Johnny Walker Black, And I was just like, oh, I should throw a blend in there. And I was like, 7 whiskeys is a lot to try to guess and actually be right. But thank you either way for the super chat, Jason. Hey, ADHD, what's going on? Anyone try the Glenmorangie Cadball Estate 15? I have not. Honest when shopping, I'm like, yeah. Okay, cool. So, I meant to put this little guy up just in case whoops, wrong one. In case anybody's wondering kind of where these regions actually sit in relation to Scotland. So, yeah, I mean, you can read. But let me make that a little bit smaller. I'll leave that up for the moment, and we'll go on to the next one. So, let's see. Now, the taste on that is a little young. And a little smoky. All right, so it's not this. That might be the Highland Park. I'm gonna put kind of like a maybe guess on Highland Park for number 4. Highland Park. Highland Park, dude. Just bought Joseph Magnus cigar blend as a retirement gift for my uncle. We'll see if it's worth $200. That's a good buy, Dexter. From everything I hear about it, I have not myself had it, but I've heard many good things. Actually, I think Eric, if you're still in the chat, I think you've had that one, correct? Weren't you talking about that one last night? Well, after mixing them up, all right, so I'm trying to get, there's a typo here. So Charles looks like Charles has guessed properly. I'm guessing that's I don't know how hard you've been hitting it, Charles, but that is not a sentence that makes sense. Well, after mixing them up, have correctly identified each of my pores, even confirmed it with my son's nose, which is far better than mine. So I think one word there really throws off the whole sentence. That's a good idea, Bill. Just make fun of the audience. That's what they like. This one's tough. There's nothing really defining about this one. So the only two that I haven't guessed so far, kind of, are those two, number 1 and number 5. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break from my taste buds. I'm going to drink some water, and we are going to randomly select a whiskey from the Patreon pool. And I'm going to spill water on myself. All right, so let's try this. This hopefully is all set up. There we go. All right, cool. So I've loaded. Let me show this off. So I took all of the choices or all of the selections that people put into Patreon, and I'm probably going to do this maybe like once a month or maybe once every other month, because this was actually a ton of fun. I had a bunch of people. I asked everybody that's a Patreon at any tier. I said, submit 2 recommendations that you'd like me to pick one at random. And so anytime that there was anything, obviously Ardbeg Wee Beasties in here 3 times. One person put it in there twice, and then one person put it in there once with something else. So that's kind of the way I'm going to handle it. So there's Ardbeg Wee Beastie, Baker's Bourbon, Ball Blair 99, Edrador. There were a couple of different variations. I don't really know how expensive that is, but whatever. Glenlivet Nadura First Fill, Hirsch Rye, Jefferson's Ocean Weeded Voyage, which I've never seen, so I'm actually going to put a disclaimer on here. I'm actually going to spin this like 2 or 3 times, and I'll just write down the order that they came up, just in case I can't find the one that won. All right, so Kilkerran Heavily Peated, Knob Creek 15 Year, Lagavulin 11 Offerman Edition, Old Grandad 114, Port Charlotte 10, and Rittenhouse Rye. So there really was no rule about kind of how much you could, submit as far as money. But you know, if something comes up on here, like I don't know the price of most of it. If something's like $500, I'm not going to do it, but we'll see. All right, let's spin the wheel and then I'll write down the first 3 that come up. So here we go. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's spinning, it's spinning. All right, what did it pick? Oh, good. That's the one I actually really wanted it to pick. Ardbeg Wee Beastie. I almost bought it yesterday, actually. All right, let's hide that one. That way it doesn't get selected again. Let's pick number 2. I mean, I know I'm going to buy the Ardbeg, but just in case. All right, Glenlivet Nadura first fill. Does anybody know anything about this one? I've never had it. Glenlivet Nadura first fill. I'm actually not even sure if I've ever covered Glenlivet. Yes, I have. Absolutely, I have. I did the Glenlivet 12. All right, so we'll do one more, just in case. Because I'm also not entirely against buying more than one, since the Ardbeg Wee Beastie should be like $45 somewhere in there. And then Baker's. I mean, that's a solid choice as well. All right. Cool. This went really well. Baker's Bourbon. Excellent. So thank you guys, all of you in the Patreon who helped to submit those. That was great. Let's go back to solo camera. All right. Cool. Well, that was fun. Let's see. Now it's about $100. Okay, whatever. Glenlivet Nadura peated. Its cask strength at about 61% ABV and costs about $70. But now it's about $100. Okay, cool. All right, so here's a question from James, and I'll get back to the whiskeys. So I've had Bowmore, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, and Laphroaig. What Islay distillery should I try next? I would go with, oh my gosh, Bruichladdich. Just, you know, fiddle around with that. They have some unpeated whiskeys. They have very peated whiskeys. Actually, they have kind of like 3 different groupings. So they've got the Bruichladdich unpeated, which is a couple of different ones, but that classic blue tin, I've done a review of it somewhat recently on this channel. And then they have the Port Charlotte. Not Port Charlotte. Is it Port Charlotte? Yes, Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte is their peated, and then they have the Octomore, which is heavily peated. So you can kind of go with any one of those things, depending on what you like. But I think that's a good recommendation only because there's variety there, and you can kind of pick and choose what you'd like. I've never done Rittenhouse Rye. No, I certainly have not, which is crazy, huh? There's a lot of whiskeys that I'm often surprised that I haven't done. I've done one Macallan on this channel. This one's a lighter one, but there's also an undertone of a little hint of peat, or smoke specifically. I don't know which one this might be. Is there any way this is the Glenmorangie? I don't recall Glenmorangie having any sort of smoke to it. The 2 that I haven't chosen yet are the Glenmorangie and the Auchentoshan. And I think this one must be the Auchentoshan. I'm gonna do that. So Glenmorangie and then Auchentoshan. A phlegm ENTOSH. Yeah. All right. So now this is what I'm gonna do. So it's 9:30. Wow, I'm plowing through this. Maybe this won't be an hour-long stream. But oh well, I'm fine with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through one more time, and I'm going to give myself a hint. Here's my hint. Well, you guys tell me what you think, because this feels a little bit... You know what? This is what I'm going to do. No, this isn't what I'm going to do. Yes, it is. Okay, I just came up with this. I like this idea, and I think it can work. So I'm locking in my answers from what I think. Now I'm going to give myself a hint. I'm going to take, like, for example, this one's Glenmorangie, or I think this one's Glenmorangie. I'm going to smell. I'm going to nose this one, and then I'm going to nose the bottle. And I'm going to see if I want to change my mind. But I've already got my answers locked in here. But I think this will be an interesting test. And if nothing else, it will kind of help me to refine my nose a little bit. Okay. So I think I can kind of remember that. That might be right. It's tough. It's so far down the bottle. It's about halfway that it's not as strong, you know. These little lids really make a difference. Okay, so I think number 2, I guess, was Campbelltown. So let's see. Hey, Richie Z. Nice to see you, as always. Not confident that I got that one right. I don't know. The one in the glass, it smells a little bit younger than out of the bottle here. But we'll see. All right, so number 3, I guess, was the Ben Romack 10. And this is the one that I really was really concerned about because it was not what I was expecting a Speyside to smell like, but let's see. Yeah, there's like, it smells like a campfire a little bit. I'm relieved because I do think that this is right. I think I got that one right. All right, let's see. Number 4, I guess, was the Highland Park. I don't know. I'm a little worried that I might have been influenced by one of Eric's comments where he said that the Highland Park could have kind of a similar smoky smell to it. You know what this smells like out of the bottle? I don't know how many of you guys have ever been in an ice cream truck, but ice cream trucks for a very long time was part of my family's business. We don't do them anymore, but my parents owned a business on Cape Cod where, for the most part, if you saw an ice cream truck, it was probably one of ours. And there's a very particular smell. If you go into an ice cream truck and you open up the freezer and you stick your head inside and you smell, it's this cold, kind of fruity, because there's so much just junk going on with all the ice creams, smell that honestly it sticks in my brain. It's like a nostalgia thing for me. And there was a bit of that coming out of this one, which was coming out of the bottle of the Highland Park. And that's bizarre. I think the next time I have my parents over, I'm going to have them smell this and just see if I'm out of my mind. But for me, that totally is what I'm smelling. Forgot to tag your name. How are you doing? Da-da-da. I was in an ice cream truck with Cheech and Chong. Prepackaged or scoop? It was prepackaged. Novelty ice creams. So, faces, 2-ball screwballs. Here's a question for you guys before I say this. So, ice cream off the ice cream truck. You've got, let's just say, a cookie sandwich. Cookie ice cream sandwich. What were those called when you guys bought them? Because I just working with my parents and stuff for probably about like 10 years. I probably saw about 7 different names of what those were called. And I'm curious what you guys knew them as when you would order them. Not just cookie sandwich. There's going to be something more specific. Chipwich. Yep. That's one of the classics. So this one, number 5, well, I'm just kind of the WWF cookie sandwich. Yeah, those WrestleMania bars or wrestling bars, whatever they were. They came with the card with like Hulk Hogan on them and stuff. Cookie and cream sandwich is what it's called. A cookie ice cream sandwich is what it is called. So we had lots of different names for them. They were the premium cookie sandwich. That was what it was called for a very long time. The Chipwich was very classic, and most people ordered it by that. The just like cookie ice cream sandwich. Then there was the what was it? There was another version of it which was amazing when I was a kid, that they essentially just dipped it into chocolate. So it was a chocolate covered on all sides with an ice cream cookie sandwich inside. And oh man, that thing was amazing. So you guys keep saying it's it ice cream sandwich. Is that a thing? It's it? I've never heard that. Choco Taco was pretty good. I knew a bunch of people drinking. If I started talking about ice cream and treats and stuff, that would get you guys going. Oreo ice cream sandwich. Now that's bomb. I love those. Those are good. All right. So I guess number 5 was the Akintoshin. And I'm gonna smell this as well. I think I got that one right as well. Wow. I hope I'm right with as many of these as I think I am, because I'm getting very excited that my nose is better than I assumed it would be. But let's see. All right, and then this one I probably guess was the Ano. Yeah, I guess this one was the Ano. It's funny. I remember complaining that I didn't think the Ano was very peated, and that was a disappointment for me because just in general I feel like Ardbegs are supposed to be crazy peat. I always look at like Laphroaig and Ardbeg as being competitors in a way, where Laphroaig is just heavy smoke with little character, whereas Ardbeg is more character but also, you know, pretty solid smoke. Almost like they give up a little bit of that smoke just to add a little bit of flavor in there. That's how I like to think of Ardbeg, and that's part of the reason I love Ardbeg. They're probably my favorite Islay distillery. I could be convinced that Bruichladdich might be a good competitor as far as my favorite, but I haven't had enough Bruichladdich to really make that assertion yet. All right, so do you pour back your contestants or drink them all? It depends, Spider. On a night like tonight where I've got this much whiskey, I'm going to probably blend them all at the end because that's a thing us whiskey tubers love to do because we're all maniacs. Some of it will probably go down the drain. I hate to say it. Mostly because tonight's a Monday. If it was a Friday night, like my old stream, this would all be going down the hatch. But yeah. All right. So let's see how I did. Well, I actually don't really think I want to change any of my answers. But I might be totally wrong. Who knows? All right. So let's get the answers out here. Hey, Fight for Sound. Welcome to the stream. All right. So, this one here, number 1, I guess, was the Glenmorangie. That is the blank. Whoops, that's the blank. That is correct. Glenmorangie 10. I am 100% correct. I'm going to just stop right here because I can't get better. All right. Number 2, I guessed, was Campbelltown. This is the $1. I got that one wrong. That's the Akintoshin 12. So that's surprising. I really was banking on myself being able to guess the Islay and the Campbelltown. Surprising. Oh well. All right. So number 3 is the Ben Romack 10. If you remember, this is the one that I was not sure of. This is 10 cents. This is the Ben Romack 10. All right. Cool. Actually, I'm going to leave the ones that I failed on here. And then I'm going to see if depending on how many I get wrong, I might actually mix them up again and see if I can, like, redeem myself a little bit. All right, number 4, I guess the Highland Park. And this is 50 cents. That's the Springbank. Okay, so I got that one wrong, too. So I'll leave that there. All right, so far I'm 50%. Cape Cod comment. What do you do your steam? Oh, why do I do my stream on Monday now? Mostly because my wife and I kind of got tired of not having a Friday night together. And I felt like Friday nights, most people have plans. Most people don't seem to have plans on Monday night. So I thought I might be able to get a bigger audience as well. All right. So this one, number 5, I guessed was the Akintoshin, so that's going to be wrong. This one was the Highland Park 12. All right. So I hope I got this one right. I imagine I did. This is the Ardbeg, and I guessed it was the Ardbeg. All right, so I got 50%, which is what I claimed at the beginning I was going to be happy with. However, I got to say I'm not super happy with it. But I've got time. And what I can do, so I've got 20 more minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 3. The 3 that I got wrong, which are, so I got the Glenmorangie right. I got the Ben Romack 10 correct. And I got the Ano, which makes a lot of sense. Because Speyside, Highlands, and Islay whiskeys are probably the ones I've spent the most time with. But even still. All right, so let me see. I'm going to, actually, I guess, so the ones that I have left, I just got to figure this out. All right, so I have the Campbelltown left. I have the Highland Park. And then I have the Auchentoshan. All right, so I'm going to put these 3 to the side. I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to mix these up. I promise I'm not skilled enough to recognize color or anything like that. Sorry for all the clanging. I'm sure this is probably terrible on the mic, but I want to make sure that I'm reasonably sorted here. All right, cool. So, let's try again. Yeah, you know, Eric, I really thought I was going to recognize the Campbelltown funk. But like I was saying, the 10-year-old, I've noticed that it fades pretty quickly. I'd love to try one of the Springbank, like the higher ones. I've heard the 15 is pretty good, and I've seen them around. I can totally get them. But anyway, all right, let's try this. I've noticed that my table gets like watermarks if I leave crap on here, so don't mind me. All right, let's see what this one is. All right, well, I don't know if I'm going to make the same mistake again, but part of me thinks this might be the Campbelltown. But let's see. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of almost like intimidated that I got that one wrong. So now I'm just questioning myself. All right, let's see. So this one is more pungent, which I'm thinking is probably the Auchentoshan. I'm thinking that one's the Auchentoshan. Now, Gregor brings up an interesting question, and actually one that I was thinking about bringing up here. He says regions are more geographical than profile. Okay. And he's totally right. I mean, like half of the Scottish regions are going to be influenced by maritime or, something like sea salt, things like that. And that's going to be what they claim is a huge aspect of their profile. Excuse me. So whether that's coming from the islands, or if it's coming from Highland, or if it's coming from, I don't know, even the lowlands, like that's going to be more of a profile thing than it is going to be a region thing. Now, the one exception I would say is probably Speyside. Now, despite the Ben Romack kind of throwing me off here, like most of the Speysides are going to be very fruity to the point where they taste like a Japanese whiskey, whereas Japanese whiskeys all taste pretty fruity. So, I don't know. You're totally right. It just seemed like as good a category to break things up as anything else. Pour them all down the hatch. I could be convinced. My wife has the kids, so she's kind of like she's staying with up at her parents' house with the kids, and so I've got the place to myself for a couple of days. So if I get a little drunk and I snore pretty loudly tonight, nobody's gonna care. So we'll see. All right, so I think the Auchentoshan is this one. Let's see what this one is. This is either the Highland Park or the Campbelltown. Now this is where it sucks, because these both really have like a funky smell to them. This one's lighter. This one's a little bit more muted. There is a difference there. Thank you, Archie. Appreciate that. Ooh, that's a tough choice, man. I feel like I need to redeem myself a little bit here. I'm about to make a choice that's going to determine whether I get 100% right or 33% right. That's heavy stakes. I feel like I'm going to nail this one more off the nose than I am off the taste. No, you're totally right, Eric. I actually said that on purpose. All right, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring here. I think the Campbelltown is number 3. The Highland Park is number 1. All right, so let's see. This one I thought was Highland Park is... Yes! Highland Park 12. Hell yeah. Whew. Hey, thanks, Jason. I will blend. I don't know about the chug. We'll see. There might be some. There'll definitely be a blend. All right, so this one here. Watch me get this one wrong. So I thought this one was the Akintoshan. So if this is the Akintoshan, this is going to say $1 at the bottom. Oh no! This is the Springbank. How did I get that so wrong? Oh my gosh! Wow. Oh, losing cred here. All right, and this one's the Akintoshan. Boy, that's interesting. Huh. All right, so one last little experiment. So ultimately, I redeemed myself on the Highland Park. So I only got 66% correct today, and even that I'll give myself half points on one of them. So that's interesting, though. I'm slightly embarrassed about the Springbank because I knew in my heart of hearts that the Ardbeg and the Springbank were going to be the ones I could tell by the nose. Whatever. That's interesting. It is how it is. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got 2 things to do here, and then I'll be done. I'm going to lay these all back out real quick. Sorry. So I'm going to lay these all back out. I'm going to just take a quick sip of each one, and just without thinking too much about it, I'm going to see if I can pick which one I like the most, and then just see which one that is. My guess is it might be the Ardbeg. The Bladnock. I've never heard of that one. Bladnock? I don't know. I'd have to talk to Roy about how to pronounce that. Probably just Blanock or Blano. I bet you don't pronounce the D. Probably not that one. Maybe. The one thing I will say about these toppers, even though they're really nice, is if you do go upside down with them and then you turn it back up, you do end up getting kind of you get some liquid on the little like gasket. Sorry, the little gasket piece, which is fine. I mean, who's turning their stuff upside down unless you're just kind of showing it off? But there's been a couple of people who have told me that they've knocked over their drink and these things have saved their drink. So I feel like that's worth it, if nothing else. By the way, can we have a moment of silence for poor Eric? Yesterday he dropped a bottle of Glendalough 13 Mizunara. Ugh, so sad. Just the fact that there's one less bottle of that in the world makes me sad. I'm a big fan of that. Aren't he? She whispered. Rub my table down with bee wax and rub it in good, and it will help with the white spots. Okay, thanks, Eric. I've actually been thinking I need to probably treat this. This was a like a Pottery Barn outlet special. I bought this the first week of COVID, actually. It was maybe like the 3rd day after we all kind of went home. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to need a desk, and I bet desks are going to get real scarce real fast. So just so happened that I was building a little studio back here. So I bought this table for the studio, and now I just use it as my everyday working from home desk. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That was pretty loud. That's the one nice thing about this mic is it's very sensitive. This one's in the running for good one. It's very sensitive, but not great when stuff falls on the table. All right, thanks, Gregor. Actually, I have some, and I probably will do that. I ended up stopping some of the improvements I planned on making with the studio here. So the problem is there's a door that's right here. So if I zoom out even a hair, you guys can see the door. And I don't like the way that looks. I would rather have more space. I'd rather zoom out a bit, but it doesn't look all that great. So I'm still trying to kind of figure out exactly what I want to do. And depending on what I do, I'm going to do some other stuff. So right now I'm actually using construction lights as my main key light, which is part of the reason, like, I actually turned off every other light except for I have 3-point lighting. It's not really 3-point lighting because I don't have a backlight, but I have a key light, a fill light, and almost like another fill light. And whatever, you guys don't care. All right, so some of you care, but most of you don't. Nah. Now, I will say, part of me is not super surprised. I shouldn't back out of this. Full responsibility here. I should have gotten the Springbank. I'm still bummed about that. But I will say, the Springbank is not a whiskey that speaks to me either. Not yet, anyway. I feel like if I had some of the higher end Springbanks, I'd probably grow to love it. But Springbank 10 is like okay. It's a great representation of the region from everything I've read and everything I've seen. And I think there's only 3 distilleries that come out of Campbelltown. So there's really not much to compare it to, but Springbank's kind of the best known one. So there's probably a reason for that. So I'm actually probably going to put some lights pretty much right above here. Some omnidirectional ones, just to give kind of a more soft glow to the whole area. And then I'll probably put a light back here. You'll see. I don't know. It'll be cool. I would like to keep improving the set here. Problem is I also don't have a ton of space behind me, so if I back up, I'm against the wall. So this is as far back as I can go. And it's not a whole lot of room to do stuff back there. I've got my whiskey shelf back here, which is mostly empty at the moment. Usually the Springbank's hanging up there. And then whatever else I'm going to be reviewing next would probably go right next to it. Wasn't a huge fan of Springbank as well, but one of my buddies loved it a lot, so I gave him my bottle. Well, that's nice of you, Jason. Time for a new house. The house is fine. I wish I could show you guys, and I could, but the lights are all off. It wouldn't be very good. Maybe another time. Actually, some of the patrons get to see this kind of stuff. Just what my setup looks like from my side. And I'm basically looking at a window, some cement, and a dartboard. So, I don't know. How many bottles do I have? I have 135 roughly bottles. Yeah, all right. So I think just running down the line here, there was only one that really spoke to me in the moment, and that, of course it is. It's the Ardbeg. I'm just such an Ardbeg whore. I love Ardbeg. I really just love Ardbeg. Hey, Bill from Florida, drinking Wild Turkey 101. Nice. Excellent, excellent. Love Wild Turkey 101. So I'm going to repeat a question. I'm so happy you knew that answer. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I know about the 135. Well, I keep a list, actually. I actually haven't shared it out with anybody yet because I want to refine it. I'm a total data nerd. I mean, those of you that know me, I'm in software. So details, data, things like that, organization, there are things I nerd out about real hard. And I'm still organizing the list a bit. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to break it down by style of whiskey versus alphabetical versus some other thing that I haven't quite considered yet. Both. There's other categorizations that I was thinking as well. And then I started thinking, okay, well, what about should I break Scotch into the different regions, for example? Or should I break it into age? Or should I do price? There's a million different ways I could categorize this. Excel's fine for that. And then part of me also just wants to throw it all in one big flat file and just sort it however I want in the moment. So I don't know. All right. So mixing. Mixing is the last step here. We got about 5 minutes left. I think that's plenty of time. Gonna just drown my sorrows, I suppose. Although I'm a pretty happy guy. No real sorrows at the moment. I'm excited that I picked the Wee Beastie. As you've now all seen that I'm an Ardbeg whore. So, there's got to be a better name for that. Ardbeg doesn't even begin with a H or a W. Ardbeg Hua. Hewa. Alright. So, let's see. I'm going to have an Argentoshirangi Remark Bank Park. Yeah, rolls right off the tongue. All right, let's mix that around a little bit. Actually, you know what? All right. There we go. Cool. Oh, bottoms up, gents and ladies. Oh, hold on. Love Ardbeg 10. What Ardbeg should I try next? If I were you, James, I would go Ardbeg 10, Ardbeg Ugadale, and then Ardbeg Corey Vrecken. Personally, I would ignore the Ardbeg NO. The Ardbeg Drum and Grooves, they're fine, but they would be something to try after. I don't know about the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. I haven't tried it yet. But Corey Vrecken is my personal favorite, but it's one of the more expensive of their core. Actually, it's the most expensive of their core lineup. So, actually, this isn't super heavy. I'll probably finish this tonight. There's some stuff floating in it. That's fun. All right, cheers, guys. To all of you, and to Wheels. Not half bad. Tastes like a smoky. Tastes like a smoky. Peat's hard to compete with. Peat kind of overpowers a lot of things. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. And I hope you had a great time. Make sure that you go over to the Whiskey Crusaders stream. Matt, Will, and Sarah are going to be doing an episode on something. I'll be there, at least in the chat, kind of checking it out. And I'll probably finish this tonight. If any of you guys don't belong to the Discord, by all means, please join it. It's super fun. We call it the Whiscord, and there's lots of people who talk whiskey all the time in there. Also, if you are not a patron, you should consider it. It would be awesome of you. And you want to be awesome. I think you want to be awesome. Except for you. You probably don't want to be awesome. But everybody else is laughing at you, so you should be awesome. All right. Have a great rest of your night, everybody, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers. That's definitely the same thing twice I said. Oh well.